Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sy Huffer and Friends. This is a podcast designed to help you flourish at life and relationships. I'm your host, Sy Huffer, lead pastor at the Gathering Christian Church in Naples, Florida. And each week, I bring on different friends of mine from around the country, from here in Naples and from all over, to share them with you because I believe that I have the best friends in the whole world and that they make me flourish at life, and that me sharing them with you will help you flourish as well. And a lot of times we cover different topics, different themes, but once a month we take a moment to tell what we call a for the one story. This comes straight from Luke 15, where Jesus told three parables about the shepherd looking for the lost sheep, the woman looking for the lost coin, and the father waiting and seeking out his lost sons. And we believe that that's the heart of God. It's for the one that is far out, that has been lost, the one that has gone astray, the one that is looking to come back home and is scared to come back home. And we like to share a story of someone in our church living like that heart of God for the one. And for that one who came to church, who found Jesus, who took a step of faith, getting to celebrate that together. And so that is something we're going to get to do today, which I'm super excited about introducing you all to Lauren, Barton, and Krista Fusco. And so, Lauren, Krista, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your family, and what you do for a living. Lauren, you go first.
All right. I'm Lauren. I am actually the wife of Phil Barton, who happens to be our worship director or pastor at the Gathering. But I'm also a teacher. I teach third grade. Well, I'm an ESE specialist, so I work with students with disabilities and specifically in third grade. I've been doing that for 16 years. I think this is not that specific position. I've been all over the place in elementary, but this is my first year doing that. I have a 5-year-old daughter named Ellie and a 3-year-old daughter named Chloe, and we call them our joy in our heart. So, yeah, it's a blessing for sure. But
That's
did I
awesome.
answer all those questions?
And to
Okay.
make sure, yeah, you nailed it. Yeah. So, Krista, what about you, girl?
Hey, Krista Fusco. I have two little boys, Kyler 9 and Caden 5. I am a teacher at Corkscrew Elementary. I teach fourth grade. I know a lot of your babies. This is my 19th year teaching, and I've always been pretty much third, fourth, and fifth grade. It's my favorite thing to do.
That is awesome. That's so great. And if I remember correctly, you are a massive Harry Potter fan. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't realize that in the background was my big Lego art, but yes, huge Harry Potter fan.
And Lauren, are you too?
No, I never read a book. I didn't even watch the movies. How are we friends, Krista? I don't know. No, nothing
I
against the
Because I
Harry
literally,
am the
Potter world.
Phil to your Lauren.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because I'm the Phil to your Lauren, that's why.
that's
I'm
fine.
more of a Hunger
I literally
Games.
just got done. Oh, I didn't know that about you.
Yes, I read the books. I've watched all the movies. I'm a Katniss Everdeen fan. But when it comes to Harry Potter, yeah, if there was ever a Harry Potter trivia, I would not be your girl for sure.
You would not be. I just got done being sick, and I love watching the Harry Potter movies when I'm sick because I know them so well, and so I can just play them and like fall asleep and wake up, and I'm like, okay, this part, watch a little bit and then fall asleep. So I just finished all like the seventh. I mean, this Deathly Hollows Part 2, and just like was bawling my eyes out, and the girls walk in. I'm like, it's
Oh.
still amazing, And they're like, Dad, you're crazy. So that's so cool. So, okay, so you all are great friends. Tell that story. Like, how did you all become friends? Like, what is your friend story?
Uh, huh. I don't know. Krista and I were actually
Basically,
talking
it's
about this the other
Phil.
day. It's because of Phil, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly the events and the order of events of like how our friendship came to be. But it did start with Phil and Krista being nominees for the Golden Apple Teacher. And if you don't know what that is, well, Krista, you should tell them because you're the one that went through it.
You just broke up a little bit. I'm sorry, so I missed the last
Oh,
part.
okay. So reception is pretty bad sometimes. I was saying you should probably tell them what the Golden Apple thing is because you and Phil are the one that went through it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so Phil and I both won the Golden Apple the same year. And they like the day after we won, they put us all together in like this room and was basically like, this is what your life's gonna look like for the next couple months. Media, interviews, like the whole shebang. And Phil's running joke is I'm the female version of him, and he is the male version of me, just because we're both so outgoing and we can talk to a wall, both of us. And so we instantly clicked, like instantly clicked. And then at the award ceremony, I finally got to meet Lauren. Um, really, really liked her. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then that was kind of it for a while. And we truly can't pinpoint when that went from like just knowing each other because of Phil and when it went from like us basically talking daily. I somewhere between Ellie and Kaden being born in the mix of just being moms during COVID and having
Hmm.
babies and lots of anxiety that's shared together.
Yeah.
And we just like, and I think because she's married to Phil and I'm so much like him and she's so much like my husband, I think we just instantly clicked
Yeah,
because my husband is very quiet and timid and will open up, but you gotta like, you can get out of him. And so it just happened. I think it was mom bonding.
I love that. And I remember seeing a video of you two together for the first time. Like I'd met, knew Lauren and Phil, maybe had met you, Krista, and then I saw knew you all were friends. But it was when I saw you all dancing and clapping, I think at a 98 Degrees concert. Is
Oh,
that right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
forgot about that.
they are like such they are so like sweet, like two peas in a pod friends. And I just loved it so much. And that's when I really got to see like your friendship for the first time. And then of course I've seen so much more since then. But that just brought me, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, like they're really good friends. I love that. That's awesome. So that's so cool. So Lauren, God used you to pursue someone that you knew that was close to you, but wasn't going to church, wasn't really engaged in her faith in Krista, right? And He used
Mhm.
you to do that, and you did it in such a way that it wasn't like you didn't make her feel like a project. I'm assuming that that's true, right, Krista?
Yeah.
So, Lauren, how would you say that you like went about doing that? Like, here's this friend that you love, you care about. How did you pursue her, care for her, show her the love of Jesus, and invite her to church?
Yeah, I would have to say that, well, it started with Phil. Phil is really good at having conversations with uncomfortable conversations with people, whether it's politics, whether even talking about, like, he can have a conversation with somebody about God and Jesus Christ with a complete atheist and be completely comfortable with it, where I would totally feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
not knowing what to say, or I'll say something and then walk away feeling like, did I cross a line, did I
Mhm.
like offend that person? And I think that kind of, had something, how I approached it with Krista. Even though like Krista and I, we have a great relationship, I can be pretty open to her about anything and everything. But it was, I think we were on like a double date or something. It was way before Krista started coming to the gathering, and Phil just kind of opened the door of just what did it look like in the with the Fuscos when it comes to going to church, or even where they're at with their faith, and do they believe in God, or do they, like, just kind of opening that door and just seeing, what was said. And something that kind of put like Krista, or God put Krista on my heart, because she was saying that we were going to a Catholic church when we haven't gone in a while, but it was felt like an obligation, and it was just, I really wasn't doing anything for me. It was more of like, you got to do this, got to do this, got there's all these rules that you have to follow, and if you don't do those rules, and it's frowned upon, and I'm like, it is more than that. It is not even, most of it's not even that. And I was like, she's really, it's not so much that she's far from God, because she does believe in God. She has been going to church, but it almost is like church hurt,
Mhm.
um and there, she hasn't really experienced what it's like to go and be a part of a church surrounded by a community of people that love and endure you. And I'm like, and our motto at the gathering, your past does not define you, your present, or your present doesn't isolate you, your future will I'm like, Krista doesn't even know what that's like, because she's feeling
Mm,
like I could be doing something wrong, or I'm not
mhm,
doing something right, and always feeling like judged. And that's not even our place to do that. That's God's place, not us. Um, so when we were doing our for our small groups, our home groups, God really put Krista on my heart of going, she's really missing the like, I'm earning this, like, to have, for her to have this, what it's like to have a relationship with Jesus. And so it really started with Phil kind of opening that door, and then gently I started with, if I can just get her to come to church. It doesn't have to be me that just says the right thing, or do it could be like, yes, me kind of guiding her, like, come check this out. And then it's just seeing the church is just a building. It's the people of the church that really make it a church. And so it was like, it's not about me, you know saying the wrong thing, or like my fear of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing and making someone feel a certain way. And I was just like, all right, if I can get her to, like, okay, we've got an Easter event coming up. If I can, send her a message every once in a while, like, hey, I've been thinking about you. Would love for you to check out our church. You can see Phil. Love to get the kids connected. And then she came to church, not only just with herself, but her family and her parents. And this is Krista's part to share, but her Chris's parents, who were like Catholics, and they came
mhm,
to the gathering, and they had like the best experience on an Easter Sunday.
mm. I love that. I love it. And what I want to point out, and I want to switch to you real quick, Krista, in a second, but what I want to point out about like all of that you were like internally processing, I think, throughout this season, is that phrase in 2 Corinthians when Paul says, "For Christ's love compels us." Like, it wasn't your desire, Lauren. It didn't seem like, as you talked about that, to like check off a list, or
Mhm.
complete a task or close a sale in the most crass way possible. We could say it like, it was like, no, you love Krista, and you
Yeah.
like the burden that she had of like being a part of the Catholic Church and not feeling fulfilled. That became your burden, and it was because of your love for her that you desired to reach out to her. That, I think, that is at the heart of what makes these kind of interactions not feel like a salesman-y, you know project-based relationship. No, it's because Christ's love compelled you, your love compelled you for her. And I think that's what she felt. Krista, would you share from your perspective, like this interaction with Lauren and Phil, and how Lauren inviting you to Easter is like what kind of said, yeah, I'm gonna say yes to this. So how did she do that in such a way that didn't make you feel like that, like a project, like a salesman?
Well, I think first it was the relationship we had already had. Like
Mm-hmm.
Lauren once said, she was like, "You're my person," and I was like, straight out of Grey's Anatomy, like you're 100% right. Like I can tell Lauren anything, and I think she feels the same way. So like I think we joked that Phil was like the salesperson. He's like, well, if you're not, because he knew we were not happy, and so he'd be like, if you're not happy, come here, try this, and then Lauren would be like, no, it's okay, you know, and then she'd be like, hey, she would send me like a message about like an event she were having or something was coming up, and we turned down probably half a dozen things or half a dozen times, and my response was always, we're Catholic, like, do you know what's going to happen to us? Like
Mhm.
someone find, like if we're found out, and we like, and we were very much living in that world of, we have an obligation and we have to follow this rule this way because that's what's ingrained in us. And it is frowned upon to go to the side or go a different path or any of that. And that was our response so many times. Chris and I both just, we're Catholic. So like this, it's an end game. It's an end of
Yeah.
discussion. And Lauren had said like that, I think earlier, that she didn't think I was that far from God. She has no idea how far we actually were, because we were in a place where the church hurt was severe. It was really
Mhm.
severe. My husband is a cradle Catholic. His parents are straight off the boat. Born and raised in Italy, came here. Like this is what we do. This is there's no straying from this. I truly only became Catholic because it was the only way for the church to recognize our children if we ever had them. because I was marrying into a Catholic family. And so I had to become Catholic. I had to get baptized. I had, like, there's so many pads in there so that I was fulfilling an obligation to this family that I adored and very much wanted to be a part of because I loved my husband more than anything. And so it was that feeling of like we actually hadn't been in church in over a year. And the last time we went was Kyler's first communion. Like that was it. That was the like we had not shown up. We had not done, honest to God, I've never opened a Bible in my life until probably 3 weeks ago when Jerry told me I should open a Bible and I did. Like
Mhm.
like these are the things that like I didn't think about because like the Bible's read to us in church. Like we don't like I don't open it, it's on a screen. They tell us what to believe and what to think. And so that was just how I lived. I didn't know. And finally it really stemmed from this is so funny. She kept asking about Easter and my boys and her daughters have become very good friends and they love hanging out. She's like, just we're having an Easter egg hunt. It's gonna be glow. It's gonna be amazing. Just bring them. And I remember like talking to Chris and he's like, ooh, Easter's a big deal. Like Easter is like a big deal. Like we got to go to our church. And I was like, yeah, but it's right here. Like I'm like, it was a convenience thing. It really was. And then I'll never forget. Monica posted like this video that she posted in our neighborhood about never been to church, want to wear a bikini? Come on, like it was so funny. And it just popped up because I'm in the neighborhood with everybody. And I literally text Lauren and I was like, clutch my pearl. I'm sorry. Did she say you could wear a bathing suit to church? Like, like I literally was like, what is this? First of all, who's Monica? What is happening? What kind of church is this if there's a glow day Easter egg hunt and people are like wearing jeans and whatever they want and who cares? Like it was mind blowing to me. Like, and she's like, just come check it out. She's like, yeah, wear a bathing suit. And then the running joke was my husband was going to show up in a Speedo. Thank God he didn't. Nobody needs that. And so we
Chris,
were like, you
we
know,
need
we're
that.
going to go. No, we
We need
don't.
that now, Chris. This
Okay.
Sunday,
It's going to be like
Speedo time.
Sasquatch on the beach. No. And so um, we told his parents, like over dinner, because they were like, okay, what are we doing for Easter? And we're like, we're actually going to go try this church right around the corner. And I think at that point, you guys, Sy and Monica, had come to Chris's birthday. Like we had kind of like interacted on a personal level. And I think you had met his parents. So they were like, okay, this one time. Like it was this one time. And they came with us, which was like shocking. I was floored. I showed up in jeans the whole entire time. I was like praying that like I wasn't gonna burn walking in the door because I'm wearing jeans. Like this is not like if you wear jeans in a Catholic church, every eyeball is on you. And I just thought I was like people were wearing these gathering bright orange shirts. Everyone had Easter like ears. I was like, what kind of thing is this? Like what is happening here? It really was, and the boys were
Mhm.
like getting donuts and like we were saying hi and there were so many people we loved. It was crazy. Like we walked in and it was instant love.
Hmm.
I have never walked into a church and felt instant love. And that's the God's honest truth. Like it's always like you walk in, you do this, you sit, you stand, you sit, you stand, you sit, you stand, you leave. Like that's what we were used to. And like I got like 20 hugs before I even made it like to where I was giving like dropping my kids off. It was just a different feel. And Chris's parents were like, that's like, that is, they didn't have words. They were like, this is such a different experience. But then getting the communion, they were like, but we still got our communion. Like, it was interesting. It was an interesting conversation on the way home. No one really knew how to broach the fact that we all loved it and felt wrong at the same time. Like,
Mhm.
we were cheating. Like it was and it was such an amazing time. The kids had a blast. And truth be told, Kyler looked at us and went, we're going to go back next week. And it's always been like, get in the car whenever we've taken them. Let's go. We're going to be late. He's like, we're going back next week. And it was like, it was our babies. Our babies pulled us back in even more than like our own feelings because I realized if I was suffering, how are they feeling as kids? Like, how is it like, because I didn't go through it as a child, my husband did. And it just, And then I was telling Lauren, we, from Easter on, unless someone was sick, we haven't missed one service, not one since Easter. That's crazy. Like to
It
think
is.
about, like, from the before we walked in to that building and then the people that walked out of that building.
Mhm.
It was an experience.
That's just a beautiful story. What if you can kind of pinpoint, Krista, just like before you said yes to Easter, what was God doing in your heart to kind of prepare you? Like, because, I think one of the things as Christians, as followers of Jesus, that you get intimidated by is like, I'm supposed to love the one that's close to me but far from God, one person that I care about. And we think we're the only ones introducing them to God. We are like, it's like they are they're a blank slate and we're just coming in
Mhm.
and we are doing all the work. That's rarely ever the case. God is
Mhm.
typically at work in their life before you step in and do the invite, or you love them, or you share a story with them. God's already at work in their heart. He's already had a relationship with them their whole life that you just get to be a
Mhm.
part of. So what can you kind of pinpoint for people, like, was there a stirring in your spirit? Was God doing something in you leading up to that kind of made you ready?
Um, a few things. There's like we don't hide the fact that we have like a special needs child. Kyler has a lot going on and he's fully aware of who he is and the struggles he's been through, and he's been through more in 10 short years than most adults have in their entire life. And like as a mom, I would fall to my knees a lot because I wholeheartedly believed in God while I was going through this internal struggle of not being happy and not feeling fulfilled. And there would be moments where I just like, watching your baby suffer breaks you. It
Mhm.
does. And I would always rely on God. Like I would always go to prayer. And I'm sitting here going like, I'm sitting here begging you for like help and the things to say and the path to take. But then I felt like I wasn't paying it forward. I wasn't living that like life that like I was almost like, hey, I need you. Can you come help me? And then I would turn my back. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like it was like, okay, I need you again. I'm here again.
Yeah.
And so it was just the struggle of like wanting this in my life, using it when I needed it to my advantage, and not feeling like I was fulfilling anything in myself truly. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was my babies. Like, they made me want to be more, and they made me want to be the role model that I want them to live by.
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally. And I think that's like there's, contentment is a godly value. Godliness with contentment is great gain. Like, I know that that's a verse, but there is this holy discontent that exists with the status quo. Like with life apart from God, at some point you become dissatisfied when it's not what is meant to be, right? If it's less than what it was meant to be, the gap between those two becomes so dissatisfying. You have to be discontent with that is actually a holy thing, because you're like saying, no, I need it to be what it was meant to be. I want to close this gap between where I'm at versus where I feel like this relationship should look like. And so that's basically what you're describing, is that just like holy discontent with reality. And so when Lauren was able to step in and say, hey, you ready to come to church? That holy discontent was that like right fertile soil for that seed to like hit finally, right? Sure, there had been a lot of other invites, but for some reason that one was at the right time from the right person. It wasn't from Phil, thank God. It was from Lauren. No, I'm just kidding. So, Lauren, what did it look like to be there for Krista as she drew near to Jesus and learned more about that made for more life that we always talk about?
Um, it was just obviously, being open to any questions that she would have, like making myself readily available for it, like, and being open. And, but it was also, what was really interesting is watching her get connected with the gathering. And then as she was getting connected, it was like almost like myself was kind of living through her, because I kind of, well, I don't have the same story as Krista, but I feel like Chris and I kind of have like a similar story. Like I grew up, my dad used to be a pastor before I was born. And then after I was, after my mom had me, he retired from that, but we went to a Lutheran church. But I understand like a lot of things were that obligation part. Like I have to, like the milestone of like first communion, confirmation, but not doing it for me. And um I was baptized as a baby, and then it wasn't until like a couple years ago that I made the decision for myself as an adult, but for a long time. And Phil and I actually had a lot of discussions, and sometimes like those discussions kind of led to like an argument, not like a full-blown argument, but like a huge disagreement, because he's like, Lauren, you did not make that choice. Like, but if I went and got baptized, then that would just mean that I'm just doing it for the people. And then he's like, yeah, but when you were baptized as a baby, that was your parents making that choice. Like you didn't choose that for you. And actually Krista kind of said this when she was talking about how like God does this and this for me. I need to start doing this for God. Like he loves me dearly. How am I showing my love to him? And so for years and years and years, I'm like, I was baptized. I went to a Christian college. Like I chose my faith. I do believe in him. But yet I did not do it the way it says, how Jesus says it's to be done, where he was in the Jordan River and he got baptized. And I didn't do that for me. And it's not for me, but I didn't do that for God. Like making that decision. And so I kind of relived that moment when I was watching Krista kind of go through this, that her eyes of seeing that it's not that obligation, it's not that judgment, that we are surrounded by loving people. And I continue to pray for her, and her have that kind of similar experience that I had, that kind of, wow, like I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for him. And I don't know how to explain it. It's just it just brings joy to me, because it's almost like in a way of like an answered prayer, but almost like a relief, like you're feeling of like free. You're like I don't know how to.
Yeah.
But to see that Krista made that decision. Did we talk about her decision? Or I know.
Not yet, but you
Okay.
can talk about it right now. That's fine.
Well, I mean, that would be Krista's thing, but I just wanted, when I saw her get up there and make that choice, I felt it everywhere. I'm gonna get a little emotional because just to see and hear her story, and like what her and Chris and to feel that big decision that she made that day of the day that we had our 1-year anniversary, and her going up there and getting baptized, it was just joy, because it just brought joyness, like to see that.
Yeah. Krista, you made the decision to get baptized. Why did you decide to do that? Like what led you to that moment?
I think that like I was sitting there ironically, and I was holding the Barton's dog, like their girls, because they were both very busy in the moment, and I was holding Kyler, like his arm was wrapped around me, and there was anyone who was in that room that day will tell you there was just this magical feeling. Like it was like a sense of peace washed over me. And I had zero intention of being baptized. Zero. Like it wasn't even on my thought process that morning. And we're sitting there and this music's playing. I start crying and I look at Kyler, and Kyler looked at me and goes, Mommy, I think I want to be baptized. And again, man, your kids will get you. And I said, I think I do too. And I hadn't, like, I was feeling it, but I didn't share it because I'm like all the feelings of I've already been baptized. I did it as an adult. but I had to do it. Like I had
Mhm.
to do it to marry my husband and have our children recognized by the church. And I don't feel that have right now. I feel the want. Like there was just something inside of me. Like God was working that day. And for Kyler to start, because I was thinking it and I was like, nope, nope, not right now. Another time, like in my head, there was an internal battle just playing for at least, Chandler got baptized, a couple other people that I knew got baptized. We were like 10 deep. And I was like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And for Kyler to say to me, Mommy, I think I want to be baptized out of nowhere. And I said, you know what? I do too. Let's go do it together. He goes, okay. And I stand up. He goes, never mind. As soon as I stood
Mhm.
up, and I was like, you know what, baby, that's okay, but I'm still going to do it. And I got up and I walked over there and I like told them that I wanted to be baptized. And I get my clothes because I'm like in jeans, like the normal, like I'm not ready to jump in water. I also had like a walking boot on because I had tore a ligament in my foot. Like this was a deal. And like, I don't know if you remember. It was
I
like,
forgot about that part.
and I turn, and as soon as I turn away from Heather, Tyler's standing right there in front of me. He goes, I'm ready, Mommy. And then he got his stuff. And it was just like, again, my baby saw me. And he's the one that made me feel like I could stand up that day when I was going back and forth. Like this little 9-year-old had enough inside of him to know that he wanted to do it, that he motivated me to be braver. And then when he backed off, I was like, you know what? It's my turn to be brave. I'm going to do it because this is what I really truly want to do. And then for him to like be there behind me when I turned around and
Mhm.
for him to do it, like, and not only that, I got to baptize him before I was baptized. He was baptized before me. There are no words to express how that felt and the way he looked at me and my husband when he came out of the water. Like there are no words. And then I remember it was my turn. And Monica pointed at Phil because she knew very much how much Phil and Lauren, and I didn't know where Lauren was in the chaos of all this, but Phil was obviously on stage. And she pointed at Phil and she was like pointing at me because like she didn't know if Phil had seen me. His face, like I just remember it was like a proud dad moment. Like he
He
just
was
had this, like I felt like he was
he
like
was ugly crying.
finally, like Kim Kardashian ugly cry. He really does.
It was
And we had to,
ugly.
it was. We have a still frame if you want to insert it in the podcast at some point. I have it. And I saw his face, and as soon as, yeah, that's it.
That's a
And as
good
soon as
one.
I turned, I saw Lauren. Like she was right there, and she's crying. So now everyone's crying. And it was just this, like, it was this moment where if I had questioned it at any point in time, like the pre-wedding jitters, like from when I got up to make the decision to before I stepped in the water, those looks solidified that I was making the right choice for myself. Like I was this is my home, this is my family, and I am finally where I need to be in my faith. And then you guys helped me hobble up in there because again, I had a torn ligament. It's like, what is happening
Mhm.
here? And it was just, I made the choice for me. Like it was for me. Like
Yeah.
I was ready. I wasn't forced to do it.
Mm.
My baby got to watch me do it, and he made the choice for himself. It was top 5 moments in my life,
Mhm.
hands down.
I love that story. I love the difference between you have to do this in order to, be married here and have the ceremony versus I wanted this. I wanted this decision because I want to follow Jesus. I want to make him the Lord and Savior of my life, and do it and to demonstrate that in a public way, to say I'm in front of everybody, with my kid, like we're doing this together. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful testament to your guys' relationship that led to that moment. I mean, all of this is important. Like every conversation, the friendship for however many years, the invites, the turning down the invites, the continuing to invite, to finally saying yes, the holy discontentment, all led to that,
Mhm.
and has led to even more of what you're doing now. And so I just want to have each of you, as kind of our last thing, Lauren, encourage someone in the room today or listen to this who is a follower of Jesus and has someone close to them but far from God, and they're nervous. encourage them. How would you encourage them to pursue that person, to pursue their one, to love them, to bless them, to invite them?
Yeah, coming from someone who gets nervous quite easily, and then also talking, who analyzes conversations, like I said before, like walking away feeling like, did I say the right thing? Did I not? I will say this, that one, if you love God so much, and I always think of like the Penn story that you tell, I think you did this in your sermon, where here you have, we know that Penn and Teller, Penn is a complete atheist and does not believe in God whatsoever. And then there was a guy had went to one of his shows and, got to meet him and gave him a Bible. Or like a little, I don't think it was a Bible, but it was like it was a book of one of the stories in the Bible. But gave that to him knowing that Penn is an atheist. And Penn saying that if you love God so much, that how can you keep anyone from, and I could be wrong when I'm saying this, but basically, like, how can you not share that? Like, how can you just keep it to yourself and not share the love that you have for God with the people around you, especially with the ones that you love? And for someone that was nervous about, how would I go about having this conversation with this person about God and or Jesus, who seems to be so far away from God? God is going to do all the work. He is going to give you the words to say, and he's going to give you the love and grace to share with that person despite where they're at in their life. He's going to encourage you. It's not about saying things wrong or not saying the right way, like right thing. He will help guide you. And then I also say, if you're struggling with maybe you've kind of opened the door but you're not sure what to do next, lean on your community around you. Like, talk
It's
to
good.
Sy, talk to your home, like talk about it in your home group at the end of, if you are part of a home group. But if you're not, I do encourage you to be part of one come there next time around when we sign up, that when you do share the one that you're thinking, maybe have a conversation like, I'm really struggling on how to start this conversation, or I'm really struggling, or I'm not sure where to go next, and lean on those people to help like with that guidance, because there could be somebody that was in your shoes that did something about it, and then they can give that advice to you. Or Sy, you're a great person to turn to as well. So
That's good. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Krista, same thing. There's someone in our church who has someone close to them but far from God, and they're nervous. And from your angle, like being someone that Lauren reached out to, like, how would you encourage that person to be faithful to blessing and serving and loving the one?
Just be a safe place for
Mm,
them. I think don't push, just mention, just bring up, like it would be subtle things like wearing the shirt. Like, I mean, Phil's got this shirt he wears all the time where it's like, the person behind me, like if you need like a prayer, I'll pray for you. It's those little tiny nudges. It's little moments like we did this at church and just sharing it. Like, I've caught myself doing it so much, and sometimes I'm like, whoa, sorry, that was a little much, my bad. Because I'll get so excited. Like, someone will be like, oh, you go to the gathering? I'm like, yeah, you want to come? It's just being yourself and sharing your truth, and being that spot where if someone says not yet, knowing that it's not yet, but it's not no, it's not
Mhm.
yet.
that's right. Yeah, I think what you said was so good at sharing your truth. There there's a value we have in our culture, which is to be authentic, right? And to be authentic means you share your full self with people you're in a relationship with. And so take that into account. If you're a follower of Jesus, that means he's the most important thing in your life. To have a relationship with someone else and not share about the most important thing in your life to that person, it means you don't actually have a real relationship with that person, right? Because you're keeping it'd be like me not sharing about my wife to someone I'm in a relationship with ever. Like, I just don't ever talk about Monica, never mention her name. They don't even know I'm married. And then one day,
Mhm.
10 years down the road, wait, you're married this whole time? You've never talked about her? It's like, what the heck,
Mhm.
dude? Like, why would you not bring her up? that same thing about your faith. And so just figuring out how to do that. I love the idea of like just mentioning it, being a safe place, just sharing what you're going through and what God's doing on your heart, what God's doing on your mind. I think is all really, really good. So thank you all so much. Oh my gosh, this was so good. We could probably keep going for another hour or so with 3 ADHD minds on the same call. So that could have been a blast. So, but we're gonna shut it down. So, no, thank you, ladies, for sharing your hearts, for bringing your full self and being vulnerable today. It really, I believe, will help other people know what it's like to pursue the one and to love those that are close to them but far from God. So thank you very much. As always, make sure you can follow along on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Subscribe and follow us on those platforms. And as always, remember that you are made for more, so don't settle for anything less. Have a great day.